What is going on, people? TripleM back again with another video, and today I would like to talk about Chelsea, as yesterday evening they suffered an agonizing defeat, 1-0 against Manchester City at Stamford Bridge. And despite that defeat, I think that Chelsea played exceptionally well. I thought that during the game, and I still think that a day later, having time to process a lot of things. I thought TripleM was exceptional under the circumstances, a young player who hasn't really got that much experience in terms of the Premier League level of the game, and he came in and was absolutely electric. I believe he's the one who hit the post for Chelsea as well. So he actually came closest to scoring for Chelsea, and that says a lot. There's players like Kai Havertz, players like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, seasoned professionals and veterans in that Chelsea team who could not contribute. They could not hit the ocean from a boat yesterday evening, and this man came close to scoring. You also had Amori Hitchinson, who came on in the second half for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and he also contributed in a way that I think we haven't seen Chelsea's first team players contribute in a long time. So there was lots of positives from yesterday's performance in terms of individual players, right? Those two that I just mentioned, Kovacic, I thought he played well. Zakaria was a lot of people's man of the match. He dominated and bossed the midfield as well. So Chelsea, in large part, played well. And in terms of individual performances, there was a lot of positives to write about. But there was also a few negatives, such as this man, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. What an utterly useless signing this man was. I've seen Chelsea sign Timo Werner. I've seen Chelsea sign Romelu Lukaku. I'm old enough to have seen Fernando Torres play for Chelsea. I'm even old enough to have seen Higuain. Higuain gets signed by Chelsea. I'm old enough to even remember Falcao. Chelsea actually loaned Falcao for a season, and Falcao, I want to say, had more of a work ethic than Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Yes, they all have one thing in common. They were terrible in front of goal. But at least those other strikers actually contributed something off the ball. I remember Timo Werner. A lot of people used to criticize him, but at least his movement off the ball was pretty intelligent. At least he used to bring other people into play, and at least he used to create space for people off the ball. At least he used to do something. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has no work ethic. He doesn't have that insatiable drive to win. That's at least what it looks like to me as a neutral. I'm not even a Chelsea fan, and I can see it. I don't think he looks like he wants to be there. I don't think his body language doesn't give me the vibes of somebody who's here to win and somebody who's got that relentless drive to chase down second balls, to chase down balls in no man's land, to actually disrupt the opposition, to actually press from the front when your team are defending, to do the things that require nothing but hard work. There's some things in football that don't require talent, they don't require skill, they just require application. That means there's no excuse. Messi can do them, Ronaldo can do them, even you and I watching this video, we could do them. You know why? Because all it requires is application. It's not about talent or skill. And tracking your opponents, running, working hard, that's got nothing to do with technical ability or talent. It's got everything to do with mindset and work ethic, and this guy has none of it. He was absolutely abysmal yesterday. He got subbed on and subbed off. That should be embarrassing under any circumstances for any footballer. Just terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I feel sorry for this man, Graham Potter, because he has been asked to work miracles with another man's toolbox. It just doesn't make sense. This guy has not had an opportunity to look at the squad and say, hey, I don't want him. Can you please sell him? Also, we need a striker. We need this. We need that. Please sign this player because he would suit my system. He hasn't had that opportunity. He hasn't actually had a transfer window yet. On top of that, he hasn't had a preseason. He hasn't had an opportunity to actually work on tactics in a safe environment where he can try things through trial and error, where he can look at the squad and say, okay, this is not going to work. Maybe we should try this formation. This is not going to work. Maybe we should play this player over here. He hasn't been given that opportunity. On top of that, this is a massive step up for him. Managing Brighton, where the expectations are fairly low, no disrespect, it's very different to Chelsea. So Graham Potter is learning on the job in terms of his mental approach to the game and the psychological aspect of managing such a big club and all the scrutiny and all the pressure. So on top of all the tactical stuff, on top of the fact that this isn't his squad, he's having to deal with all of that as well. So any logical, sensible human being would look at that situation and say, clearly, this is going to take time. If this is going to work, it's going to take a lot of patience and it's going to take a lot of support. But instead, from a lot of Chelsea fans, not all Chelsea fans, but from a lot of Chelsea fans, I'm seeing a lot of negativity towards Potter. I've even seen people say Potter should be sacked because he should have never been hired in the first place, which is such a strange thing to say. Why on earth would you support and condone your club sacking a manager after hiring him in the middle of the season? It makes no sense at all. It absolutely makes no sense at all. Anybody who genuinely expects Todd Bowley to pick up the phone and tell Graham Potter that, you know what, don't bother coming into the office in the morning because we're moving in a new direction over the next few months, how are you happy with that? How are you as a Chelsea fan thinking that that's the most rational solution to this current situation you find yourself in? Doesn't make sense to me, but it's just my opinion. Everybody is allowed to have their own opinion, of course, each to their own. But yeah, man, I don't know. Chelsea played well for me yesterday. I thought Kevin De Bruyne was nullified for large parts of the game. I thought Haaland was quiet. I thought Foden was quiet. And until Mahrez and Grealish came on, there was no threat from City. Cancelo tried to whip in a few crosses here and there, but he was dealt with by Marc Cucurella, who, by the way, didn't have a great game, but I thought he dealt with Cancelo quite well, relatively well, considering the circumstances. And I didn't see anything from from Man City's midfield. Apart from Rodri, who was exceptional, he was the only one pulling the strings. Gundogan was quiet, from what I can remember. So yeah, man, they kept a lot of Manchester City's star players quiet, and that's a big thing. That's a huge positive for a team that struggled against Bournemouth, a team that struggled against Nottingham Forest, a team that struggled against Leeds a few weeks ago, a team that struggled in the Champions League against AC Milan, and if it went for a red card, they probably wouldn't have won that game as easily as they did. You know what I mean? Like, this is a Chelsea team that wasn't expected to win anyways, and they still put in a very good performance and nearly nicked it. And people are being very negative. I think Chelsea fans need to calm down, man. I'm not going to lie. As a neutral, I think you guys need to calm down. I think you guys are building something genuinely scary under Todd Bowley. And even if Potter doesn't work out, you can always get a new manager later. It's not the end of the world. But that's just me. It's been your boy TripleM. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Peace.